Welcome to Mindfully with Tumishe, the podcast that invites you to explore mental health with honesty, compassion, and openness. Each week, your host, Tumishe Oladapokuku, shares personal stories and stories from people like you. Together, we'll confront mental health myths and build a space where imperfection isn't feared but embraced. From self-esteem struggles to relational conflicts, we're here to discuss it all, with guidance from experts and real raw stories that inspire healing. It's time to live mindfully. It's time to be compassionate with ourselves and each other. Mindfully with Tumishe, new episodes every week, available wherever you listen to podcasts or at blackimages.com.
Mindful partners, how far? On that day. How did that rather dramatic and pictorial unloading of my inner dialogue land with you last week? But because honestly, I felt like I unpacked a 5-week experience in almost 30 minutes. I want to apologize for coming at you like that, but nah. The reason we are mindful partners is so we can hold each other's hands authentically as we protect our mental health, or perhaps more accurately, give fresh expressions to the questions our mental health keeps asking us. Our partnership has never been about wearing each other's shoes to see if they fit. It's always been about allowing the owner of the shoes to teach you why they wear them, what shaped them, and whether they even want you wearing the shoes in the first place. And all this this grammar simply means as we continue this journey into our internal or personal dialogue, whichever one you decide to use, remember our maps will never be the same. Will there be similarities? Of course. But similar does not mean identical. Put more appropriately, similar roads do not mean identical journeys. Today, I want to explore one of the quietest voices we carry. It is also well dressed that we often mistake it for confidence. Today's conversation is about insecurity wearing confidence. No, don't roll your eyes on me. You know you've met it. In fact, you may have looked it in the mirror this morning or this evening and greeted it. Today, I simply want to tell you how I met mine. But one thing before we continue, this series is not about romanticizing the fact that I live with bipolar affective disorder, bipolar 2 to be exact. It is about redeeming the experiences and the gifts. Yes, I said gifts. Those weeks and the years I've lived with it and left behind for me, and I'm offering to you to see how it might help you too, and maybe people around you. One of the loudest voices that almost drowned me was insecurity. Not sadness, not fear. insecurity. Funny enough, part of it comes from my stories of origin, but a huge part of it came from my years in radio. If you have not heard that joke, or if you're not a radio person, let me invite you to the joke that we all, well, grew up with, for lack of a better word. It says, radio has been helping ugly people with beautiful voices get employed since 1897. Yes, we laughed. We laughed until we started believing it. We went to work with unbrushed teeth, different colored shoes. Nobody cared, after all. They can't see us. These days, radio is almost fully visual. I doubt we would have gotten away with it now. Although I left mainstream radio almost 6 years ago, that voice still visits. It still whispers. Tumishi, only your voice is beautiful. Yes, it sounds harmless until you're the one hearing it. People who know me may disagree, but I can be deeply insecure. Ironically, my voice became the very thing that hid that insecurity. My voice became the strength that cloaked my insecurity. You see, very early in life, I learned that evidence rarely changes how I feel. Evidence gets me some closure. It doesn't always give me movement. It doesn't even give me answers. So, I became very good at wearing masks. I've said that so much that I'm beginning to think that I sound like a broken record. I was internally pessimistic, externally optimistic. I fear people, yet somehow I desperately want to become a bridge back to people. And that's humanity. Now, stay with me before you roll your eyes. I promise you, all these roads are leading somewhere. But before we continue, you know it's coming. Let's check in with ourselves, check in with your body. Relax your shoulders, relax the space between your ears. If you can close your eyes, do so. If not, gently lower your eyelids so that it's looking at one spot. Relax your forehead. Again, check in with your shoulders and relax it. Now take one deep cleansing breath in through your nose and sigh it out. Let's continue. During those difficult weeks, I had one constant: my faith and my Bible. Only this time, the stories stopped being Sunday school stories. They became mirrors. These weren't superheroes. They were human beings asking frighteningly familiar questions. Questions about fear, questions about identity, questions about belonging, questions about whether they were enough. And somewhere in all of that, I met Uncle Giddy. Yes, Gideon. Yes, Gideon. Judges 6. But after this last few weeks, we become close enough that I call him Uncle Giddy. Picture the scene. He's hiding, using a wine press as a threshing floor because his people were living in fear. Then someone appears and says, "The Lord is with you, mighty warrior." Eskisa, me? You sure you don't have the wrong address? Honestly, if not me, that would have been my response. Of course, Uncle Gideon wasn't inspired. He was confused. Then he started asking questions. Where has God been? If God is with us, why is this happening? How exactly am I supposed to save anybody? Because my clan is the weakest. And me, Gongon, I am the smallest. I understand Uncle Gideon. I do. Because insecurity has a way of rearranging your behavior until hiding starts to feel normal. How does this connect with my own internal dialogue? Simple. We all wear masks, and social media has simply made them prettier. The hot takes, the perfect captions, the wisdom in comment sections. Sometimes that is simply personal dialogue dancing in public identity. You know who you believe yourself to be. Then fear quietly edits your behavior. My internal dialogue sounded something like this. Tumishe, you're hiding, therefore you're a coward. Tumishe, you're struggling, therefore you're weak. Tumishe, you're depressed, therefore you're incapable. And my absolute favorite, Tumishe, you are anxious, therefore you're unsafe. You see this last one? That one gets me all the time because anxiety has a way of sounding like wisdom. Let's stop here again and check in with yourself. Take that one cleansing breath. Now another. Sigh it out. Now, quietly ask yourself, am I hiding because I don't believe I am enough? Do I automatically interpret struggle as weakness? What story have I repeated so many times that it now sounds like my own voice? Please do not rush to these answers. If you need to, you can pause this episode right now. I'll wait. If you want to answer them right now, that's okay. If you want to come back to them, that's all right. I will wait. Are you back? Ready? Let's continue. But unlike Uncle Giddy, that's Gideon, I wasn't confused. I was angry. Not at people, at myself. Angry because I thought I had moved beyond these episodes. Angry because my usual coping tools weren't working. Angry because I kept praying like Paul, please take this away. Angry because I wondered if somehow my faith had failed me. And perhaps my greatest anger was that I thought I was failing you. Yes, you, my mindful partners, because I couldn't recover fast enough. When I finally sat with the anger instead of running from it, something shifted quietly, almost imperceptibly. One sentence kept returning. Healing can feel like subtraction, less certainty, less performance, less masking, fewer voices, fewer coping personas, until eventually you arrive at your own 300. The part of you that can actually fight. Maybe. And maybe that's what happened to Uncle Giddy too. Maybe the army wasn't just reduced. Maybe the noise was. Maybe all the voices telling him he wasn't enough had to become quieter before he could hear the only one that mattered. And you know what fascinates me the most? His ridiculous request for signs. They were answered not because he had perfect faith, but because he had an honest conversation. Toni Morrison puts it this way.
Sometimes you don't survive whole, you just survive in part. But the grandeur of life is that attempt. It's not about that solution. It is about, being as fearless as one can and behaving as beautifully as one can under completely impossible circumstances. It's that makes it elegant. Good is just more interesting, more complex, more demanding. Evil is silly. It may be horrible, but it's at the same time, it's not a compelling idea. It's predictable. It needs a tuxedo. It needs a headline. It needs blood. It needs fingernails. It needs all that costume in order to get anybody's attention. But the opposite, which is survival, blossoming, endurance, those things are just more compelling intellectually, if not spiritually, and they certainly are spiritually. It's just more fascinating job. We are already born. We are going to die. So you have to do something interesting that you respect in between.
Whew. Okay, if you need to pause again, I give you permission to pause. Toni Morrison. She said, we've already been born. We're going to die, but we have to do things in between that we respect. May I sprinkle a little bit of faith here? Sometimes God doesn't change your circumstances first. Sometimes He interrupts the sentence you've been repeating to yourself long enough that it now sounds like the truth. At least that's what He did with me. So, what am I inviting you to do today? I'm inviting you to explore your stories. The inherited ones, the repeated ones, the ones that quietly became your internal conversation starter. question them, not with condemnation, nah, not with judgment, no, but with curiosity, with what they say, the beginner's mind. Who knows? Maybe, just maybe, you will discover your own 300, or maybe you simply hear a quieter voice saying yes to you. Good luck. And thank you for staying with me on this episode. Yeah, a little bit of unpacking of myself there. I absolutely love doing it, and I hope that parts of it has helped you too. Again, like I always say, pick the one that works, the one that doesn't work, throw out of the window, or share with someone that you know might need it. On the back of that, I would say if anything speaks to you or spoke to you during this episode, please give us a like, a follow, and would appreciate a share. That way we'll get a little bit more of visibility. Most importantly, I would appreciate it. Yeah. Thank you very much. I'd say huge thank you to Toby, my absolutely amazing, though quietly frightening production partner. Thank you very much, Toby, for all you do. Until next time, be kind to yourself. Love yourself. Love your neighbor. Love your country. Above all of this, love God. He is the essence of your being. I am Oluwatumise Oladapo Kuku. Stay mindful.
This is Mindfully with Tumishe, brought to you by Black Images.